Hi, I'm Catherine Blackford with Usborne Books and More. Today I wanted to share with you a few of my favorite combined volumes and family read-alouds, starting with the complete book of Farmyard Tales. This is a really sweet combined volume. There are 20 stories about Mrs. Boot and her apple tree farm. This is a dual reader. We usually recommend it for kindergarten and first graders because they can read the simple text along the top and you can have the more complex text along the bottom that an adult or older sibling can read. However, today I wanted to share it with you because I think it's a fabulous read aloud for preschoolers. Because of the simple story along the top, you can definitely shorten this if you have dealing with short attention spans, or you can read the entire story if your kids are really wanting to snuggle and hear a silly story about these farmyard animals. This book is absolutely adorable. I love it. Next, we have the Big Book of Little Stories. I appreciate this book because of the variety of story styles and illustrations. Again, it's a combined volume. Lots of classic stories and fairy tales in this book. This is Little Red Riding Hood. There was a Crooked Man. You can see again the variety of illustration styles. Some of the stories are really sweet. Some of them are really silly. But all of them are little. They are definitely short stories, great for bedtime reading. We also have the animal stories for bedtime. There are 10 classic animal stories retold. Things like Chicken Licken, The Hare and the Tortoise, and The Ugly Duckling. There's definitely more text in this book and fewer illustrations, so it's better for slightly older readers, children who are able to sit and listen to a story for a longer period of time. But the illustrations are beautiful and the stories are very sweet. I love introducing children to these classics at a young age. I also love the size of this book and the ribbon bookmark to mark your place. Next, we have Olga de Polga. This is a chapter book by Michael Bond, the author of Paddington Bear. This goes through the life of Olga from the time that she is adopted out of the pet shop all the way through her first Christmas. This book is a lot of fun. Each chapter is an independent story about Olga, which makes it really great for reading over the series of several days, weeks, or even as a classroom read aloud. You don't necessarily have to remember what happened in the previous chapter to really appreciate the story that you're reading now. There are definitely tons of beautiful illustrations in this book if you've got young children that are following along the story with you. Olga is a very silly character and your children are going to love her. I also wanted to show you our illustrated stories collection. This is our illustrated stories of princes and princesses, great for any fairy tale lover. This is a combined volume, again, multiple stories in one binding. These stories are all classic retellings with happy endings. Some of them are going to be familiar, like Cinderella and The Princess and the Pea. Some of them, like The Seven Ravens, might be new stories for you. Definitely, though, again, happy endings, great for bedtime reading. If you love fairy tales or princesses, this is definitely a really great read aloud. We also have the illustrated stories from Greek myths. This is definitely more for the adventurous type. Our illustrated stories collection all have a variety of illustration styles and story reading levels. This book has a lot more illustrations. It reads a lot more like a storybook with shorter text on each page. Some of these books are actually a collection of short chapter books. They have short chapters, so it's a great introduction to chapter book reading for young children. The stories are continuous, but again, there's multiple books in each of this binding. And finally, we have our illustrated originals, Treasure Island. There are, again, multiple books in this series as well. It's like Little Women, The Wind in the Willows. Heidi is another one in this series. This is Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. It's an unabridged telling of the story, so you get the full, fabulous pirate story. But I absolutely love that this book is got this padded cover like all of our illustrated books. The ribbon bookmark, it looks beautiful on your bookshelf. It's definitely going to be something you'll treasure for many years to come. Those are the books I have to share with you. Happy reading!